Peace and blessings, yo. Yeah, you know, before I start, I'll let you know my research is deep, man. This is from the Most High. I was sent here to retrieve some information, and that's what I'm here to do. So you're getting some real deep stuff that probably you ain't gonna understand till later, but roll with me, you know, this is mad deep. So anyways, we talking about DNA activation, you know, and we left off about light, you know, using light to activate your DNA. Well, you know, I want you to understand, you know, a lot of things we was taught, especially by European and medical business, it's not true. These things that we believe is actually here to help us is here to hurt us. You know, we're energy. We're not actually biochemical as what we think we are. Biochemical help to sustain the energy, to protect that energy, but we ourselves is not sustained by biochemical, meaning you're not the physical all the way. So for you to understand how to self-activate yourself, you have to really understand that you're more of a cell. Take one cell for instance, you know, and most shout out has to go definitely to the mother, you know. Without her putting me on to what's going on, I would never have learned the rings. The rings, let me pull out the rings before I start. You know, the rings, the 7 rings right here of the chakras is very important because I was up in the astral world going on the astral journeys, you know, horrifying at first and going through it because I didn't ask for it, I didn't care for it, I just got pulled in. And so when every season, every cycle came in the year, I had a new teacher, a new gatekeeper that locked onto me, even from my head, my neck. I kept a record of it, with each one starting off from, if y'all recall, I started off with reptilian shapeshifting, coming out shapeshifting and talking draconian, you know, repping that beginning stage of the underworld, because that's what you experience going back to Sumerian and earlier times. And so from there, it was next, I was saved, you could say, because in there was Egypt came next. I was in Egypt, going through all the processes and rituals that it takes to be a king and queen. That's, you know, purifying myself of my sexual desires and my beast sides and my animal nature, the reptilian brain. That's where I had to get it under control, where I had to actually learn how to control my psychic abilities and the powers. In it, you know, I was able to body double, astral project, you know, have astral sex, go to people and they will see me and perceive me. All of these I just learned recently, and how to heal by touching myself and that person, whatever part of their body heal, how to do exorcisms by just, you know, doing it long range, by just doing it. And actually helping people with some types of illnesses, such as diseases and mental illnesses, and bringing other people into confidence and to reassurance that there's nothing mentally wrong with them, that they're a higher being. All of this, you know, I learned about schizophrenia and eating right. All of this came from the underworld, you know, alchemy. So once I was able to harness the power to realize this is my soul, I learned from our old alchemical teachers, it was time for me to, you know, man up and go on this journey. I was helped now out of the underworld by some angelic beings. This is when I learned the whole angelic stuff. But let me go back. Before I even entered this, the first appearance was dragons. Dragons everywhere. Dragons in my wall. Dragons in the clouds. Dragons in my showers. Dragons on the floor. You know, and it was like, that started everything. Once I entered the dragon, everything just switched. So now going up to, skipped a few now, back to the heaven kingdom, it was the only defense that saved me from the reptilians and all the stuff of the underworld. And so once I ascended out of that darkness, it wasn't so dark no more. I was in a light. Like if I was outside up here now, I was happy to be out. So, you know, I didn't want to go back down there in the darkness. So, you know, my missions was up here now. And from there, I kept going up, going up, going up, going up, going up. You know, heaven only lasted, it was a very short cycle, like half a month. And in there, that's when I had to take my, test my weighing of the heart, which was a very, very deep situation. I didn't understand it. It makes sense more and more as I ponder on it. And the weighing of the heart is the whole biblical tale. The whole biblical tale of, you could say, the part where Set comes to Esau, or whatever you want to call him, Heru, and asks him if he want the world, he could have the whole world. From there, it started for me. I was in darkness. It was a dark place, and it started with like a year after me getting my abilities or learning how to fly around, third-person view of the astral world. But after that year, after an eclipse, this dragon came and just put itself in me like a 747, kept entering my body till once it was in me, I was floating in my body. It's different. When I go into the astral world, I wasn't a third-person view no more. I was in first-person view. Like if the floor was gone, everything was gone. I'm like, what the hell? Everything changed. And so from that change now, it was like I was in a test of my own heart. And in it, I had to go retrieve Manu. Manu was, it was the scariest journey of my life, because I saw as I was going the paths towards him. They call it like the well of soul. It's like two paths. You go this way or you go down this way. Who would want to go down this way? Something that's eerie, dark, that's, as soon as you go towards it, it's giving you a negative, nasty feeling that's pulling on your heart, like it's ripping out your inside, pulling your gut down. Who would want to go there? So I'm all the way over here, and they like, nah, you're forcing this shit on me for maybe 2 weeks. You know, imagine every time you close your eyes or you try to just meditate, it just take you back there, and you're trying to have trust in the dragon. It's teaching you how to fly. You're floating all around in there. You see and this to keep pushing you towards this negative energy, dark space that you see there that you don't want to go experience. Man, I just got fed up. It was no other way to go. So I was like, fuck it. I went down, and it was dark and airy, and it was just cold and disgusting. And it's like, you after you think you're in hell, you go down deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and you're in another hell. You think you're in hell? No. It's deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. I was like, yo, what the hell is this? When I got down there, I could just hear a dark, deep voice talking. And you know, after a while, the voice go away, but you can understand what it's saying to you. And he's offering you everything in front of you. And it was nothing but darkness. But it was like you walking, telling the story. So with that now, and you deny that, it's like you go even deeper down after a while through shafts and caverns, and you see a decrepit old man laid out like a nigga beat him to death. Looked like Tupac to me, laid out, you know, because it was half mutilated or whatever. So I had to help this man and pick him up and carry him, struggling with him all the way back up. Now when I brought that man back up, it was like him and the nigga I was talking to, which would have been Set, so that would have been Horus, started kissing. I was like, what the hell is this? From there now, we go and I take some oaths. I met Sakmet now, but when you coming back up with him, I realized it was something I'm floating on. I didn't even notice. It looked like I was riding on a carpet or something. But now it's different because I could see mad hands, sea of hands just coming up out of it, like waving up to me. And I'm like, what the fuck? Ready to jump, but it's no way. You in darkness, and you have to stay on this. It's like you riding it on the boat of the Tuat, or you riding on the Tuat, where they said if you fall off, you better have some type of spell to save your ass. You can't fall off down there. Something is carrying you, and it's like a carpet or something. So when I looked, it was actually dead people, mad dead souls. So I don't know, something came into me and I just started seeking them forgiveness. I tell them I forgive you, and I reached my hand down to touch them. I wasn't afraid. And then one or two of them got up on my thing. They got up on my thing. And come to find out, that's Heka, you know, protection. That's what was carrying me around. That's who carried Jesus around. That's who carry us all around, the dead. The forces that come around us is what makes us up. So anyways, now once I realized, oh my God, this is deep. It was like it carried me now and lifted me up high. It took me out the darkness, lift me up, lift me up, lift me up, lift me up, lift me up. And I was like out here again. Now, but in like the desert. And all of a sudden I see the shadow of Manu come down. And we just start learning hand signal. Every goddamn hand signal you see in medieval art. Go back to the Renaissance. It's all about hand signal. The paintings, look at them. Hand signals. They're giving you your aerial flighters. They teach you how to fly your macabre. They kept it as an heirloom to pass down to generations, like I'm sending it to you because you're an indigo. And if you take flight already, I don't know if you like me, but we fly through right here. We fly through all this shadow beings, you understand? And you have to know how to move in it. That's how you move. They teach you that with the medieval art. They left it there. So just knowing the position, you would experience what I experienced with Manu as my teacher, floating over the mountains in the desert, going like helicopter rides of the Apache through caves. Had to learn curves and coming in and coming at full speed, faster than light, making sharp turns. It teaches you all of that. It teaches you about what's called kinesthesia underneath your feet. It feel like you have shocks or absorbers underneath your feet, and all of a sudden the experience start getting real. You start floating. It was crazy. All I had to do was pop my heels, like they say with Dorothy, click the heels. You just pop your heels, and when you put it back down, it was like you was floating all of a sudden. It works for many different experiences in the astral, like floating down through the floor, any type of feeling in the water, any type of environment standing. It could turn hot, cold, whatever it is. You understand? So kinesthesia is the key to that, where you feel these feelings inside of your body that replicate if you was in a roller coaster going down. You feel the butterflies in your stomach. Everything is real. But your body mimics this so your consciousness can have a so real experience. It could turn against you. Your body could self-combust and kill you if it wants. Alright, so now, on that note now, you got to realize these experiences is designed now for a reason. It's like it's preparing you for something greater or higher. So once I wind up now having this experience with Manu, it's a very powerful experience. I don't mean you're just going to see an orb or you close your eyes. No. The actual frequencies, like a cloud, like these clouds that come in the form of a person, and when it touches you, you will pass the fuck out. The power and the radiance before it even get to you, from where the tree is at, is fucking you up. You understand what I'm saying? This is the type of energy that these things provide. It's like you gotta understand pulses, forces. Magnetism is a pulse. You see how when you drop the magnet and the file is around it, it makes the circle of the target, the kundalini, the chakra. That's a chakra. Well, that's what you are. You're the north and south pole of a magnet, that everything around you is a pulse energy that you can't see, of a magnetic field. That's the vibrations you feel when people say, you know, you give me good vibes or you get bad vibes. People feel energy drainage. When you get energy drainage is when two pulses have an incoherent field. Their field don't mix. When you have good energy and somebody picks you up, y'all two energy field complement each other. But this is a pulse energy different from a vibratory frequency. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to understand yourself. That's a cell. You're a cell. Okay. So now, being that now, where we was at? Let me see if I can remember. We're talking about now, being that all of this leads to, where am I at? Hold on, let me pause this so I remember right. Okay, yes. So once you realize the dragon itself, once it comes on to you, it induces everything. It's like it's an activator of all your cells, or what we call the process of kinesthesia, or make you an empath. You become sensitive to energy. Well, this got a whole bunch of different effects on it. And you know, all of this you need to understand. So when you watch my older videos, you see the different stages that I had went through as I went through Ascension, and it'll make sense, because this is gonna help you understand cells, because this is about cells. We're going back to this, you know, the circle, the ring. You know, it was when I was caught up in, after the heaven kingdom, I was gonna tell you real quick, it's gonna rain too. So we're gonna walk when you talk this. It's like, I went to the abyss. I remember crossing the abyss. Those journeys taught me how to astral move now and how to fly, how to navigate. And it was for the abyss, maybe you could say I was wandering for maybe a good 2 weeks of hard meditation, maybe all day of just straight darkness with probably just somebody once in a blue moon. And it was something real scary and nasty. Probably did something bad to me. Back then, I was being attacked by so many things. It wasn't until I got to the higher kingdoms that the actual archangels started taking everybody off of me. Everybody off of me. And when I passed all of that, I got to the other side of the abyss. That's when I encountered the 4 horsemen, Pan, all the creatures that you say, if you follow Bobby Hemmett is talking about, all of a sudden became real in my life. It's like it was spiritual attacks, but it wasn't attacks. These is actually part of Manu's security, his people's. Like if you hear in the Bible, they say when the person opens up the 7 seals, the dragon comes and the 4 horsemen and the dragon and the virgin, all of that stuff is real. That's actually in your psychology, your subconscious mind. So let's make this all make sense, because this, like I said, is about the ring really. And it was when after all of this, I faced a few gatekeepers. I remember now when I got to the wolf. This is when I finished everything in that zone and I was passed to go to Cyrus. When I went to Cyrus, it was the first time I learned how to wormhole. It was a long wormhole journey to get to Cyrus. And when I got there, it was unidentifiable things. I couldn't identify things for a while. I just had to stay in there until I figured it out, started making out faces, because it could be right there and they ain't gonna let you know. So once it was, I got locked onto the wolf, Canis, you know, and I learned all the Cyrus stuff, but it never let me go until maybe a year and a few months later. When I thought it was gone, it was still there. It's a beautiful image right here. So anyways, after all that now, I realized that something was attached to my head, like how this is coming on right now and coming down. And it wasn't until I learned how to move backwards, go backwards, I saw rings, rings, rings. And it just kept messing with me for a while, these rings, because I kept seeing them. And so after that now, I realized that it was something like Sonic, same like Sonic, but in reverse, in slow motion. I started learning how to back out, learn how to go sideways, learn how to do different moves. Whoa, the rain is coming, you hear that? I gotta get out of here. So once I learned how to do all that, we might have to cut this short. Yo, look, I'm gonna let y'all see. You can hear it. Yeah, that's how we live out here, it's real. Alright, so now, anyways, man, I ain't gonna make it. I'm gonna have to cut this short. Here it comes. University of Conscious Science. One love.